Hey guys, so I haven't done this kind of a video in a while, especially in 4K, if you will. As I check something here, hold on. I just want to make sure the camera's adjusted. But I haven't, like I said, done something like this in 4K in a while. But I wanted to give you a bit of a look at my Sabrina the Skunk, Sabrina-Online, I should say, book collection, if you will. Now, I don't have any of the plushes just yet. Eventually, probably one of those will come into my possession down the line. But I wanted to do this because I wanted to show you the books that I do have, and especially now that I have a new one in my possession, although it's not technically Sabrina, but it's spun off, as I mentioned previously, it's spun off from basically the same continuity, but aimed more for the adult, audience, more so than the PG-13 Sabrina is. Now, in case you guys don't know who Sabrina is, basically Sabrina, long story short, is a character that was created at the dawn, if you will, of the internet. Now, I know you're thinking, well, the internet's been around a lot longer than that. Well, I'm talking more like along the lines of the dawn of the internet as we know it, right now. Basically, where everybody had the internet in their homes and all that to utilize whenever they wanted. The only difference with the internet back then compared to now is you had to switch out, your phone for the internet. Well, basically, long story short, when you were on the internet, you couldn't be on the phone, basically. So, so yeah, that's how far back she went. And that's around like 1996, 1995, even earlier, I think, according to some of these books. But yeah, she's been around for quite some time. And a lot of people have associated themselves with Eric W. Shorts in creating the world of Sabrina for her to inhabit it along with her friends and those that she would meet along the way. And of course, as I mentioned, some of these stories would also be spun off into their own series, mostly aimed at adults and everything, mostly aimed for the more mature audience of the late night fare, if you know what I mean. Very late night fare, if you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, so she's been around for quite some time, and I got to, like a lot of people, got to know who the character was through the comics online, as well as the animations Eric would put out for a while, like Remote Possibilities, Artist Plight, I think was one of them. So so to me, I got to know who the character was, not necessarily from the start, but kind of like in the, I guess you could say her fourth or fifth year of existence or something like that. I got to know who the character was and kind of was up and, kind of like back and forth, up and down when trying to keep up with it and all that. So anyway, when I did finally get a chance to really pay attention to Sabrina and get to know what the character was about, the other characters involved and stuff like that, I wanted to catch up and kind of, really, make sure I was, in the know, if you will, continuity-wise as to what was going on. And I could tell you honestly, it's been a tremendous journey to, just not only catching up when I did, which I think was around like, the early to mid 2000s, and then up until later, later on, it was quite a journey to keep up with her, and then to find out that you had various spin-offs, like I said, that were more aimed for the adult audience more than anything. So as a result, not only did the webcomic, succeed on its own website, which is Sabrina-Online.com, but of course, Eric W. Shorts realized that, well, not many people are probably going to want to, wait, or scroll through the website just to see what, the next story is and all that. So basically, he decided, I don't know how long ago it was, but he finally decided, along with the help of United Publications, he decided to publish, some of the comics that he put out. And the first one that he put out is a collection of what he considers the volumes. Kind of like think Garfield in a way. That's how he collected these, or makes them look collected. Basically, he decided to essentially go with Sabrina Volume 1, Year 1, and then go all the way from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that was just my computer and everything. But like I said, he went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He essentially went through the first 10 years of Sabrina. He basically went through the first 10 years of Sabrina, took every panel colored and black and white, mostly black and white, and he collected them together along with some behind the scenes stuff like fan art and everything, and outtakes and all that. He even dedicated like the final pages here to the art of Sabrina-Online, where it's like fan art, art by Max Black Rabbit, who is the original, I think, creator of Zig-Zag, who basically Eric took on, not only took on, but basically brought into the Sabrina continuity, and somewhat thanks to the, I guess you could say the OK by Max Black Rabbit made into his own. So yeah, basically Zig-Zag is not an Eric W. Shorts character. She's a Max Black Rabbit character. But like I said, thanks to the OK and permission and approval by Max Black Rabbit, he was able to take the character and make her into an integral part of the Sabrina continuity, and if not, make her as his own, if you will, and thus with the OK be able to spin her off into other stories and all that. Some collected in the newest book that I got recently. But yeah, the first book he brought out, I'm trying to find the year here. I know he brought a year here. It's the first, like I said, it's the first 10 years. But the book he published, I think, right here, it's copyright 2012, so this book's been around for about a decade. It has an introduction of all the characters, if you will, that are in here. It has an introduction of all the characters and all that. Some of them, like I said, get their own stories and everything. And I think he has the years here somewhere. I think it's the years here somewhere. I think some of these actually went back to about 94, if you will. I'm not necessarily sure. Okay, well, not 94, but it's 96. So it's almost going to be 20 years in a couple of years, believe it or not. 20 years. Well, actually, not 20 years. It's going to be 30 years. 30 years in a couple of years. That's unbelievable. So she's like 27 years old when this starts. 27 years of Sabrina. That's unbelievable. And she's still currently going to this day. There's still new comic strips coming out on the Sabrina-Online.com. But if you are a supporter of Eric's Patreon page, or at least one of them, I think it's the Sabrina one called Eric W. Shorts. I have to look. I'll provide a link if I can. You'll get access to those stories before they come out, before they become published, if you will, on the Sabrina Online page or website. But yeah, he's basically taken the first decade of stories, which I'm assuming is 96 to 2006, and in 2012, according to this, that's what it says, 2012, he collected them together for Sabrina Online, A Decade in Black and White. So yeah, we have Sabrina Online, A Decade in Black and White. And this is a collection of a lot of the stories that I've read online, you guys have read online. If you have, it's all here. Just need to clean up the cover a little bit, a little marked up, but not too much. But yeah, it's a collection of all the stories, really worth reading. But then he decided basically afterwards, hey, that was a success. This character's still very popular. I'm going to do it again. And basically what he did is he took the next 2 decades, which was 2007 to 2017, if you will, 2007 to 2017. He basically took them and decided, you know what? We're going to do another volume. So he basically took year 10, year 11, year 12, year 13, year 14, year 15, year 16, and year 17, if you will, and collected them together is what he did. At least that's what it looks like it showcases right here. He basically went 11, 12, 13, 14, and I'm assuming 15 and 15 and 16, 17. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 I'm guessing, and 17 I believe. So yeah, I think that's what he did. So yeah, it's the next 2 decades basically worth of story. Next 2 decades worth of story, and what we have and everything. And again, just like the previous volume, it's a collection of all the web comics that you would get on the website and everything. It's just an extension and all that. It's just an extension with more behind the scenes stuff as well. But yeah, it is basically 20 years worth. This is 20 years. So about 2017, we have, and I think this was one of the more recent ones that came out before the one I'm going to show you. We have Sabrina-Online, A Tale of 2 Decades. And both are hardcover books. So that's pretty cool to have. So we have Sabrina, A Decade in Black and White, and Sabrina, A Tale of 2 Decades. Then we have this next one, which is a collection of the stories that came afterwards. This is, I'm assuming basically the first colored one he did, but it's also it's a collection of all the stories leading up from this one, from the end of here till now. We have Sabrina-Online Baby Steps. This actually came out not that long ago. This came out, I think this came out, let's see, I'm trying to find here. I think this came out like a couple of years ago, I believe. 2018. So not that long ago, about 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. And this basically centers around Sabrina and her husband now, boyfriend, husband, RC, having the first baby, which, boy, this baby, I'll tell you, she really is a very, very much know-it-all. But yeah, it's a great companion piece. Came out about a year or so after the second volume of the decade of 2017 collection of volumes. And then, of course, last but not least, is the newest one I got today in the package opening, Tales from Fur After Dark. Of course, like I said, this is more adult-oriented, if you will. I think you can see that right there, what it says. So it's more adult-oriented, more focused on the Fur After Dark stories that take place within the continuity of Sabrina-Online. So yeah, again, as I mentioned in the package opening, think along the lines of what they had originally planned for a Hey Arnold spinoff, focusing on Helga and her family, but with a more adult sense to it. And that's kind of like what this is, but turned up a notch by Triple X standards, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys, in closing here, my Sabrina-Online book collection. Let me know what your thoughts are. And until next time, give me your thoughts. Let me know if you own any of these. And I'll talk to y'all later.